Hey everybody, welcome to the video. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Tonight I'm just down in the shop. Thought I'd do a little video on removing a vintage axe handle, hopefully without destroying it. Some people might ask, why would you want to take a vintage handle off? Well, you guys that work on axes and stuff like that know that, one, finding good axe handles is not an easy thing. Hardware store handles, yeah, they work, but they're big and bulky. So a guy might want to take a vintage handle off, put it on a different head maybe. In this case, I'm going to take this one off and I'm going to send it to a guy who builds axe handles, and he's going to make a replica of it. So that's why I'm doing that. And I do really like this axe that I'm taking the handle off of. I don't like the vintage handle. I have a quality handle that I'm gonna half this axe on. So that's what we're doing tonight. I'll get you set up and we'll see if we can get this thing off without destroying it. So here's the axe that I'm gonna take the handle off of. It's a big old plum. Awesome splitting profile on this axe. And like I say, I don't like the handle. I have another handle I'm gonna haft on this axe. So there's the original handle, and it's in really good shape. I know some guys restore to original. This would be a great handle for that. So like I said, we're gonna try to get it off of here without destroying it and send it off to have it made into a replica. So I got the axe mounted in the vise here, and I'm just going to go after this metal wedge to start with the chisel and the hammer, and see if I can get it loosened up and see if I can get it out of there. Just trying to get it to go side to side a little bit. Found that if you got a good sharp chisel, you usually can grab a hold of the edge and get a pretty good bite on it. Once again, I'm trying to do minimal damage to this handle. I can see already it's starting to move, that wedge is starting to move side to side. I don't think this one will be too bad. Seems once you get them loosened up just a little bit, you kind of work them back and forth. I can see it's coming up out of the handle just a bit already. With a good sharp chisel, you can kind of cut a notch in it. At some point you'll be able to do a little pry up on it and see if it'll come loose. Once it's rocking back and forth in there, I'd like to see if I can get a pair of wire cutters or something on it and give it a pry up. All right, I managed to track down my wire cutters. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see if I can get a hold of this. Sometimes you get lucky and you can get enough grip on it, you can just use some leverage. Pry it right out of there. Like I say, sometimes you get lucky. They don't always come that easy, but that one did, so I'm happy about that. Bring you in here a little closer. So now the wedge is out of it. And of course, what we got to deal with now is the wooden wedge that's in there. And I always like to, before I start drilling or doing anything to get that wedge loose, I like to just give them a couple hits with a hammer and a drift and see if they'll drive out of there. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Get you back over here. We'll see if we can get this driven out of here. We got lucky with the wedge, maybe we'll get lucky with the rest of it. So I got a bunch of drifts that I made just out of old axe handles and stuff. That hickory seems to hold up pretty well to pounding on it. So I'm going to give it a couple hits with a big hammer here and see if it'll start to move. I'm going to go ahead and take that as a resounding no. So I'm going to go ahead and start drilling on this wooden wedge. Remember, I'm trying to save this handle, so I'm going to try to be fairly careful with it. Keep the drill bit straight up and down. Just drill into the wedge, not the handle top. Sometimes you can pull a little bit of the wedge out of it. See, there's a piece here that's moving around. Haven't really found them to be glued when they're hung from the factory. Not the ones I've encountered anyway. Kind of start working pieces of that wedge out of there so you can let that handle squeeze in when you try driving it out of there. Sometimes you get a screwdriver or whatever and pry some of that material out of it. So I got it to start moving. It's mushrooming it out quite a bit, but I think it'll still be salvageable. I'm going to go ahead and keep pounding on it here and see if we can get it to come out of there. Try to use a drift that's as big as I can so it doesn't mushroom it out too bad. And that's the sound you want to hear. So I just ran that on the belt sander a little bit. Picked out the rest of the wedge, and like I suspected, it wasn't glued in there. So I would say that you could definitely rehalf something on that. It's amazing how a lot of them, the slot for the wedge is rarely cut in the center. I don't know why that is. Must be mass production or whatever. But, and then you could see it wasn't really tapered fit on this one. It was just kind of pounded on there and the wedge is driven into it. But I would say this is a success. Definitely saved that handle. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. As always, thanks everybody for watching. And if you haven't yet, hit them buttons, the like and the subscribe, and I'd appreciate it. Like I say, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.